Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Looks over the middle, second guesses, fires, throws. Does he make the catch in the end zone? Yes! Touchdown! Oladipo to win it.
Another one! Another one!
Oladipo!
Another one! Huge hole! He's at the 30! He's gonna go! 10, 5, touchdown! Jonathan Taylor!
Galloway finds Rob Finnessy, who fires the three in.
He hit it!
Now, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you from high atop the 18th fairway at the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington, of course. We're heard on great stations like 97.7 ESPN, The Ref in Evansville, WBRO Marengo, and around the world on YouTube, where you should subscribe and hit the like button now so you never miss a show or an episode. We're brought to you by Andy Moore Honda, AndymooreHonda.com, where you will always find the best deals on new and used vehicles, and Endeavor Hospitality's WOW Network. Go to your Apple or Google App Store now, sign up, start earning WOW rewards today to places like BB's Market, home of the best selection of custom meats and in-house made products around, and a full-size bakery where you can join us each and every Friday at BB's as we do the live show there. Looking forward to that. I'm Jim Coyle, of course, my co-host Dustin Schutte from Outsider.com, and we've got another fun show for you today. As first of all, the remnants of Ian has come and gone, and definitely made his mark, and will go down as one of the top 5 hurricanes to hit the Florida Peninsula.
Yeah, it was pretty devastating to watch. Fort Myers, Sarasota, Sanibel, some of those areas just absolutely devastated by it. And then it's hitting Orlando hard right now, and that whole area. And then I think it's going to go back up to the coast, Jacksonville, St. Augustine area. So there's still a lot of people in that storm's way. And then they think it's gonna pick back up and potentially hit Charleston. So our friend Mitchell Page, hopefully he stays safe as well. And that'll be in a few days. But yeah, it's pretty catastrophic down here. Fortunately, where I am, Gainesville, Florida, it basically just like a bad rainstorm, basically heavy winds and some rain, but that's about it. But if you look at the photos, I mean, they're using airboats to get around in some of these towns. It's just awful.
Well, Florida, first of all, does not have it's pretty flat. That's why you got all the swamps. It's a low-lying state. So it's going to be very, very prone to that, but hopefully everyone gets through it okay. I talked to my friend yesterday I called him while I was watching the radar, and I waited till he was in the eye of the hurricane. I mean, he was in dead center of the eye in Cape Coral. And so I called him and he answered, and I said, hey, I've never talked to somebody in the eye of a hurricane while they're in the eye. How's it going? He said that it was just, wild. So but I haven't talked to him today to see, because the first part I don't think is the toughest part. And once you reach the eye, you still haven't gone through the hardest part. It's that back part, I think, that seems to get you. And the Tampa Bay was almost empty, I believe. The water was sucked out. It was a reverse surge, a reverse storm surge, and people were walking out into that muddy muck. Kind of like what happens when before a tsunami, how it sucks the water out.
Yep.
But luckily it doesn't send it back in. But think about all of our friends down there in Florida today. So hopefully everyone got through things as best as well. Dwayne's on already. Hello, how you doing, Tim? Mike, Larry, John C., Dr. J. Buddy, when you come in, I ought to send you down to see Dr. J at Reynolds Family Dentistry. He gets you all set up.
There we go. Sounds good.
Only if I can come in and do like
the drill work.
Yes. Yes.
There you go. Take out your aggressions.
Make sure if you're down in the area, Sellersburg, down in southern Indiana, wherever you are, Dental care. Reynolds Family Dentistry is the place to go. Dr. J, man, it is it's always pain-free. Guaranteed pain-free.
That's the best part. Pain. That's the best part.
Exactly. Rudy the Boxer on with us as well. John C says, glad to see Dustin still with us. Appreciate that. Prayers to everyone in Florida. Yep. We're thinking about them. I haven't looked to see the damage on that side of the coast.
Not good.
Besides the storm surge, was there a lot of damage?
Oh yeah. I mean, there were roofs floating down the middle of the road.
Wow.
Like flooding had surpassed, like it was, all you could see was rooftops in some areas. So I don't know that you can, like right now, it just looks like everything is underwater. But once that water gets sucked back out of there, I mean, it's just going to look catastrophic. They're saying that places aren't going to be livable for months. I'm hoping there's a way I can get down there and maybe help once they get some of that water out, because they're going to need it for sure. So we'll see what happens. But right, everything's underwater. We saw cars floating, houses floating, just a really ugly scene. And like I said, the crazy thing is I lived in Orlando one time during I think it was Irma, and we thought that was pretty dangerous. And it's way worse in Orlando right now than it was 3 or 4 years ago whenever that storm came through. So it's not going to be good.
Well, like I said, hopefully we will we'll keep up with them, and hopefully things will come out okay. They always do. It's not like this the first time it's happened. Dr. J said, saw a lady on a TikTok floating in a kiddie pool in her living room.
Yep. There are people that have been standing on their tables inside their homes so they can get until rescuers can get to them. There's a lot of stories.
Whoa. Stop the presses. Rudy the Boxer says there was a shark swimming in the streets of Fort Myers.
I saw a video. I can never tell if those videos are real or not, because there's always videos of sharks swimming in streets after a hurricane. So I don't know if it was a real video or not. It looked real, but that's would not surprise me if that was turned out to be an actual video footage.
Oh, I've got to look that up. Shark swimming in where was this? Fort Myers?
Fort Myers. Somebody be able to confirm it, I'm sure.
I will. I'm about to confirm it right now. This is from, let's see, who is this from? That's first of all who I look at to see.
Yeah, that's the key. You don't know. That's why I say there's always 2 or 3 of those videos that surface after every hurricane, and I never know if they're actually true or not.
Well, this is a Twitter user. First of all, where's this? It's a screen grab. I can't even see the video. Where's the damn video? Oh, here we go. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if any valid news sources tweeted it out.
How do you know that's not a dolphin?
I don't know how you know what it is. That's why I say
I'll watch that later. I saw a dolphin one time. I was down in the St. Petersburg area, and I was just out on a dock, and I turned around and I saw this fin. And you talk about the fear of God going through you. And it was a dolphin, but all I saw was fin.
Yeah. Well, a dolphin can be, I don't know, violence the right word, but they can be aggressive at times, depending. They can. Yeah.
I'm sure they can be if they had to be.
That's what I'm saying.
They can be if they had to be, but wow. We've got sharks in the streets, baby.
Yeah.
I have ordered. I have one thing that I'm going to bust out today, a new item that I can't wait. And I just ordered something last yesterday that I can't wait to wear on the show next week. So I'm going to keep that one secret. But I got a little item to bust out on the show today.
Nice.
It'll be cool. I'll wait till Matt Taylor joins us.
Oh, yes, I know what this is.
Yeah. So you already know.
I do already know, but I'll keep my mouth shut.
Wait. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna keep it on the QT. See, this was a few days back. The times have been announced for basketball. We'll go over that later. Matt Taylor is going to join us. Chris Denari, of course. What else was I looking at? Oh, how about what the hell is Brett Favre doing?
Oh boy, that guy, I don't know. Turns out he is pretty much kind of a slime ball, is what I've come to understand. And anybody who doesn't know, basically, he and the governor, I don't know, I shouldn't say this, allegedly took money out of a fund that was dedicated to needy families of a welfare fund to fund University of Southern Mississippi's a volleyball facility. And the text messages seem pretty damning. It's that whole thing is not good. I have not seen the latest. I did not work yesterday, so I don't know if there's more to it or not, but I know he was being investigated by the FBI. Not good.
Oh, no. I get this. Here we go. Brett Favre's, I like to say Favre. Brett Favre's foundation, aimed at helping children and cancer patients, of course, gave funds to Southern Mississippi Athletics, like you just said. Here's the
that fund too.
Yeah, from 2018 to 2020, Brett Favre's charitable foundation, Favre for Hope, which has a stated mission to support disadvantaged children and cancer patients, donated more than $130,000 to the University of Southern Mississippi Athletic Foundation during the same year that Favre was working to finance a new volleyball center at the school. Favre, the Southern Miss alumnus, is embroiled in a welfare scandal. See, this is different. He's got two different things going on.
That's what I did not see. I did not know about his charity thing. That must be the latest.
This is it brought in a welfare scandal extensively reported by nonprofit watchdog Mississippi Today, in which millions of dollars earmarked for people in need were misappropriated. Favre received $1.1 million for speeches he did not make, like he works at Kentucky or something. According to a state auditor report in court documents, it was instrumental in moving more than $5 million in welfare dollars toward the building of the volleyball facility while his daughter was a player at USM on the volleyball team.
Yep.
He is among dozens of individuals and organizations being sued by the state. Favre paid back $1.1 million, though the state says he still owes $228,000 in interest. He has not been charged with wrongdoing and posted on social media that he did not know where the funding for the volleyball facility came from. Yeah, well, I just pulled $1.1 million out of my ass. I don't know where it came from, but here it is.
See, here's the thing. The text messages are pretty damning. I don't know that the governor ever said exactly where those funds were coming from, but basically Favre said, to summarize, I don't care how you get the money, just get the money. So he may not have known where it came from, but he knew what he was doing.
BS, because here's something else. Tax records also show that in 2015, when Favre's daughter was a volleyball player at Oak Grove High School in Hattiesburg, the Favre for Hope Foundation donated $60,000 to that school's booster club, the largest grant made by Favre for Hope that year. The Oak Grove Booster Club subsequently granted $60,000 to the high school with a stated purpose being to assist building athletic facility. Dun, 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 dun.
Yep.
There you go. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how in this day and age, when you're doing something like that you think you're going to get away with it. That's all too much money. People watch that stuff.
Because he's been able to get away with so much in the past. This is what happens all the time with these kind of people. They just get away with so much and they think that they're untouchable. And that's exactly what happened with Brett Favre. I guarantee
the untouchables. How far are you willing to go? What are you willing to do?
You're going to ask me what that's from, and I have no idea.
It's from the Untouchables.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a movie.
What am I? Am I here by myself?
Might be.
Break. John Boy. John, the producer, on with us as always. Big thanks to him for being along. Let's see. Let's hit these. We got to take a break before we do. Let's hit these, catch up on the messages. Ross said a sheriff said there were hundreds of fatalities in his county.
Yeah,
I think it was Lee County. Wow. Holy cow. Thinking about those people. Mike's had a sister living in Orlando, and his parents lived in Sebring at one time. Thankfully, they've all moved back to East Seminole several years ago. His cousin's still down there, but evacuated. Good for them. California, Oregon, Stanford, and Washington could be next to join the big if Kevin Warren gets an offer from Amazon for Big Ten football media rights. This will crush the Pac-12. That's from Tim. Yeah, that's stuff we'll have to look at. Yeah. Mike says, what? How do you not know Sky? The Untouchables, but not sure. But anyway, how do you not know that movie? I'm certain because it has Kevin Costner and Sean Connery in it.
And Robert De Niro.
De Niro.
Yeah, I just looked it up, and American mob movies are some of my favorites. So it is startling to me that I have not heard of it nor seen it.
You should be punched in the face.
I should. I should be.
You know what? There should be one of those things. You remember the boxing glove on the arm that would just come out? And
yes. Yep. I know what you're talking about.
I need one of those on there for like a guest punch. Boy, every time I bap, I can hit the button and like bang, just give you like a soft little tap. We got to take a break. We brought to you by our good friends at BB's Market, where we will be tomorrow. Daggone, today's Thursday, isn't it? Holy moly. We'll be there with Chef JD tomorrow, cooking up some good stuff. It's getting close to my chili time.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's that time of year.
And they've got the ground sirloin there that I've already eyeballed that I'll probably be picking up this week to make for next week. It's on. Like a pot of neck bones, baby. We're back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting Bloomington,
Jim, you had some newfound energy this morning.
I know it. Jim's fired up.
Jim's upset.
Jim's upset.
You know what episode of Seinfeld I watched? Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Was the one where the mechanic steals the Twix bar? Oh, it's so good. Twix is the only candy with the cookie crunch. You got the cookie right there in your lip. That's nougat. You think I don't know the difference between nougat and cookie?
The stupidest things that they could make a show out of.
I know. Amazing. But that's what real life is.
Good morning, Senior Matt Taylor.
Uh-oh.
Is this thing on?
It is.
Howdy, Matt.
Howdy.
Things are looking up for the Colts this week.
What's that? What?
I said things are looking up for the Colts this week, aren't they?
It's Thursday. I just take it one day at a time, man. That's honestly what I do here. I don't even know. Who do we play this week? Hell if I know.
Do you play this week?
Oh, yeah.
So. I think so.
I was kidding.
You bailed on us last week after the 24-0 loss.
Yeah, I know. Coincidence, huh?
Didn't want to answer the tough questions.
Funny how that worked.
I wasn't here either, Matt. I was very upset.
So bad.
Yeah. No, I had meetings last week. I apologize.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to bring it up. It was funny.
Yeah. Boys, how do you do this every morning with energy? Let's go. I need it.
Coffee.
There's a lot of coffee involved, Matt.
I like it. I respect
I'm used
it.
to drinking 3 cups a day at this point.
See, I used to produce a 3-hour talk show in the afternoons, and that was hard enough. I don't know how you guys do it in the morning.
The Ride with JMV. I remember those days.
Oh, you produced JMV?
Yeah, I did. I go back even further than that. I go back to Kravitz's show and all those guys.
Kravitz's show? I didn't know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, 2008 to 2011. No, 2010, and then I did John's show from 10 to 12.
I'm gonna have to ask Kravitz about that next week. I'm curious what his
remember,
show was like.
Well,
that's where I knew. That's how I knew they call the nickname Mayte.
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go.
Or on this station every week, Monday through Friday. If we're not on a station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio. This segment is brought to you by Southern Stone Restaurant. Now back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you here from the high atop the 18th fairway at the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Matt Taylor, the voice of the Colts, with us now. How are you, brother?
I'm good. Not as good as you. What's up?
Got it strapped on. I'm having to hold my earpieces in is the only problem.
Yeah. That's your only problem. You're right. That's the earpieces are your only issue, right?
I'm ready to go. I'm
Give
ready.
me a
I told
break.
you I've been loosening up the leg. It's loose. It's ready to go. Put me in, coach. For those of you that are only listening, you're not watching, you can't see the
Who signed that?
Oh, where shall I start? Let me take
my gosh.
I'm going to take this off.
Here comes the struggle.
This is great programming. Wow, you need a haircut, pal.
This is why I wear a hat every time.
Me as well.
Jeez Louise.
That was
This
a
is
lot
amazing.
that was a lot more difficult than I expected it to be. The earpiece part
You know
really
what?
screwed me.
That sums up your life in general. Everything's just probably 10% more difficult with Jim.
You're being kind at that number.
Who you got on there?
Let's see. Let's just a little Reggie named 83. You ever remember him?
Well, he wore
back
number
in the day?
87. He wore 87.
Well, weren't there two Reggies?
Nope. There was a Reggie Miller, but he played basketball.
Yeah.
And he was
well, I
number
can't remember.
31.
Who
Yeah.
was 83?
That would have been Brandon Stokely, maybe.
Back in the Peyton era.
Yeah, that'd have been
Yep.
Devin Stokely. Yeah.
And then 93. Is that Mr. Feeney?
Yeah, Dwight Freeney. Yep.
Yeah. There's Jim Caldwell,
Yeah.
Jeff Saturday,
Yeah. Coach, center. Yep.
Adam Vinatieri.
Yep. Kicker. Yep.
Let's see. Who was number 71?
Geez, I don't know.
Do you feel like you're at work right now, Matt? Like you're just going down the roster and the depth chart before a game?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
this is
I'm
like-
saving the best for last.
This would be like, the 2003 Colts against the 2003 Steve McNair-led Titans.
There you go.
I'm saving the best for last there. You can't see that, but number 18, baby.
Yeah. There you go. There you
Who was
go.
that?
Some guy named
Jim-
Peyton Manning.
Jim Harbaugh? Number
Some
18?
guy named No.
By the way, speaking of Peyton, so Peyton's Places is taking over the world, the Omaha production stuff. Have you guys seen Eli's Places on ESPN Plus?
Not yet.
I didn't know he had it, but is that did Chad Powers start that? Is that the first one of them?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Have you guys seen the Chad Powers Penn State thing? I assume you had because
Oh
you're
my
both college
God.
football guys.
Yes.
I absolutely loved it.
I mean, I watched that 3 times, and it got better every time with age. It was so funny. Well done.
It is.
Yeah.
I was
Chad,
talking
run fast.
yesterday.
Come on, Chad. Think fast, Chad. Chad, run fast, Chad. So good.
I was saying yesterday, I always thought that Peyton, is hilarious. But and Eli, I'm like, Eli's just along for the ride. No, Eli's pretty damn funny.
Eli's pretty damn funny. And I relate to Eli.
Because he was, oh my God.
Yeah, I relate to Eli because he's got that like snark, like sarcastic sense of humor, which I think I very much employ. So
I can see because he grew up behind Peyton,
right.
So I guarantee I see that, but seeing him do that, oh my God, I was like, oh no, they're a funny family. My favorite line of all. Somebody asked him who was coach. Oh, my mom. She wasn't very smart, but she was a good coach.
Yeah.
I liked when he referred to himself in the third person and was like, if Tom Brady can play in the NFL at 45, Chad Powers can walk on at 26.
I mean, he was dropping the greatest lines, and just. I don't know, just whatever. I forget. I mean, it was hilarious. And then Peyton on the Manning cast, which I'm beginning to give Eli a lot more credit for now. He's really starting to come into his own of giving it back to Peyton. Mm-hmm. Peyton's always. I love Peyton because Peyton, he can tell he's the quarterback of that deal because he's into the game, whatever's going on. There's a conversation going on over here that may have nothing to do with the game, but he's doing both. He's watching the game, and he said, "Hey, we got to line up in trips here. They're gonna probably bring in pressure. Well, look at your forehead, Eli." And it's like 2 conversations going on. But he is in that game, and you can tell every move he's making and responding to it. I don't know how anybody or why anybody would watch the regular broadcast. Sorry, Matt, on Monday Night Football, because of that is just simply hilarious. I would, under no circumstances, would I watch the other versus the Manning cast.
Let me tell you, if I was a fan, so, like, for example, if the Colts were playing, I don't think I would watch the Manning cast because I'm more interested in the football. But if it's just 2 other NFL teams, I watch the Manning cast. But if I was a fan, I don't know what it is. I just don't want that extra little bit.
Right. I got to chime in on something. It's the same way with Bill Walton with college.
I was just getting ready to say that. That's the only other analogy I can make the same. I can't. If it's a game that I need to want to watch, I can't have Bill doing the game.
I can smell colors. I can see sounds. Assembly Hall. It's the greatest mecca of basketball. Plus, they have good ice cream, right? I mean, that's the kind of junk you get.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And another great spot on invitation by our man Matt here. But I had the fortune of working with him way back. It's when I was doing stuff for CBS. It was when he first got his ankles fused. I mean, he sleeps. Think about him sleeping. Just sleeps like that nonstop. If you roll over, you're like that. So apparently, he cannot sleep on his stomach. I guess.
Oh wow!
You think?
Now I'll be thinking about one thing all day. Thank you.
About Bill Walton's feet.
How does Bill Walton sleep?
Yeah, there's an icebreaker for you at the bar. You go up to a chap. Hey, man, Bill Walton, his feet there. Now you guys can appreciate that about the Manning cast because you're right. He is the quarterback of the show, but he's also thinking as the quarterback of the game as well because he's having to provide insight for the viewer. But also, I mean, think about how many people are in his ear. He's got the producer, he's got the director. He has to talk about the game, but he also has to incorporate Eli and the guests and have the timing and the synergy and not make it awkward and get into breaks. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff. It's like playing a game of chess in your head you guys can appreciate that because you do that on a daily basis. I have to go through that during the game. So it's so much more difficult than it looks on TV because there's all these different balls you're juggling simultaneously. You have to prioritize things in real time. So plus you have to process the game. You have to actually watch the game and think like a quarterback, of the game that you're watching and provide insight for that. So he makes it look easy, but it is not. Trust me. You guys know that.
And there was another line that Eli quoted some stat, and instantly Peyton said, "You don't know that, Eli. Somebody just told you that in your ear." I mean, that's why it's great. They just bust each other out all the time, and it's just hilarious. Pat McAfee was on, and of course, that just raises it up another notch, especially because you had the butt punt to talk about that he broke down, and they had like 7 punts in that game. But then they were talking about there was a game the day before that they punted the ball like 10 times, and this, McAfee was, it was the most glorious sight of all time. It was the greatest football game ever played. I mean, he's a nut. A lot of great characters have come off of this Colts team. If you stop and think about it, I mean, look at those two, Peyton Manning and McAfee. Man, they're both big-time national guys, and McAfee's stature just continues to climb as he just joined College Game Day on Saturdays I'd say eventually to take over for Lee Corso, who was a former Indiana coach. So I was like, wow, the connections continue. Amazing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Crazy stuff, my man.
The Colts had kind of a good win last week. Man, shocked a lot of people, knocking off Kansas City. A big-time win, a big way to get things started, a big way to get momentum started, to really kickstart a team that had kind of been, spinning in the mud, I guess you'd say.
Right. And it's huge to get that win, not only for the standings, but as you said, like psychologically, mentally, to come back and prove that you're a much better team than the product you put out there those first 2 games, and to prove it to yourself, the city, the fan base, but also the rest of the NFL. We can beat a marquee opponent, and we're much better than 0-1-1 at the time. So now they're 1-1-1, and feel like they kind of found their footing to a degree. But that being said, I mean, you guys watched the game. I watched the game. I mean, Kansas City didn't play their best football, and the Colts took advantage of that. And I think the Colts won that game because primarily they were the team that made the fewer mistakes, and they still made their fair share of mistakes. Kansas City played woefully on special teams, made a lot of uncharacteristic gaffes in the third phase of the game. That being said, I thought the Colts played terrific on defense. Offensively, they still only scored 20 points, and through 3 games here, the Colts are only averaging about 13 points per game. They've been shut out once. So just because you won a game doesn't make everything perfect, and they're going to have to continue to get better. They're going to have to find their identity. Certainly, offensively, the pass protection's got to be corrected. I think it's been solid for parts of this season, but then when it's bad, it looks really bad because you got free rushers, and they've allowed 12 sacks and 28 quarterback hits. Matt Ryan's been under duress. He's lost a lot of fumbles, so it's setting up your opponent with short fields. That's what happened to Kansas City on Sunday. They took advantage of those short fields, and to the defense's credit, that's really all they gave up. But yeah, just because you won a football game doesn't mean you can kind of rest on your laurels and stick out your chest and say, we beat Kansas City, everything's fine. Kansas City played down a little bit. The Colts took advantage of those mistakes, got to win at home. But this is a monster game coming up on Sunday against Tennessee. I think still your chief rival in the AFC South. And these 2 head-to-head matchups are going to go such a long way in deciding who wins the AFC South, just as they have the last couple of seasons. So, yeah, big ramifications coming up on Sunday against the Titans.
I hate to backtrack after a win over Kansas City because there's no doubt that was huge. But I'm going to, yes. I go back to that Jacksonville game, and so one of the things we talked about multiple times, whether it was with you or Bob Kravitz or some other guests, was our concern about the receivers. And in that Jacksonville game, I think Jacksonville's improved, but I didn't think that their defense did anything special that shut down the Colts. Just really when Michael Pittman Jr. was out of that game, nobody at the wide receiver position stepped up. And to me, that's still a little concerning. You've got Jonathan Taylor already at over 60 carries this season, and outside of Naheem Hines, Michael Pittman Jr. has twice as many catches as anybody else on the roster. So I mean, do you still see those concerns at wide receiver through the first 3 games?
I mean, to a degree, because as you said, against Jacksonville, in his absence, it was hard to find playmaking ability. I think Paris Campbell has played more snaps so far this season than any other wideout, and he only has a couple of catches, was shut out in that Jacksonville game. So it's one of those things where it's been a concern when he wasn't out there and not so much concern when Pittman has played because of the synergy and the cohesion that Matt Ryan has with Michael Pittman Jr. So, yeah, it's one of those problems. You're sort of riding a thin line because you're so dependent on one guy so far, and then when he's not out there, you kind of saw what happened. But I do think that Jacksonville's defense is pretty darn stout. It's not overly exotic, as you said, or complicated, right, but they just executed well, and they've got a bunch of guys on that team. I think they've got playmakers. I really think that might be one of the best front sevens the Colts play all year, and they're going to have to do it again in 2 weeks after Thursday Night Football next week. So it's going to be, we're going to continue to talk about it until there's no reason to talk about it anymore. And you got Alec Pierce back last week. That was good. I thought some of the young pass catchers last week really kind of stepped up in pockets of the game. The Colts were stacked up at the 1 yard line last week, and then they threw that 30-yard go route down the far sideline to Pierce, and he did what he did in college at Cincinnati, Dustin. You saw it against IU last year, his ability to kind of high point the ball, win contested matchups, contort his body to bring in those tough 50-50 balls, got the Colts out of the shadow of their own goal line on that play, had a big catch inside the red zone, the last drive of the game to set up the Colts in scoring position. And then Jelani Woods, I lump him in with the pass catchers as well. He only played in 8 snaps in the first 2 games of the season. And you're kind of thinking, all right, this guy's a rookie. Where is he going to, be involved in this offense? How's he going to get acclimated? How are they going to use him? And then all of a sudden he goes for 2 touchdowns, 2 catches, both touchdowns, has the game winner. So those 2 guys stepped up. But one is a rookie. The other guy is a rookie tight end. And so he's kind of that third tight end, is not going to have the biggest of roles on a week-to-week basis. So, yes, it is guys like Ashton Dulin, Paris Campbell, Mike Strawn that need to step up in case something happens in the future here with Michael Pittman Jr., because there's no doubt you're riding that fine line with your reliability and your dependence on number 11 and your number 3. Yeah,
and another thing, just what are we going to see from Tennessee this week? Because as you mentioned, this is a huge game for the Colts, a 1-1-1 start, but a little bit disappointing considering the level of what we expected the competition to be in the first 2 games. I think Houston's not good. I think Jacksonville's a lot better. But I think that if you get through this with a win over Tennessee and you start 2-1-1, I think fans start to feel a little bit better about this game. Right. So what challenges does Tennessee present to the Colts heading into this week?
Well, I mean, on offense, there's still, I think, from a mentality standpoint, from a team or a franchise cultural perspective, they are still ground and pound. They want to be the most physical team in the NFL. They sort of take on the identity of their head coach and Mike Vrabel in that regard. They're going to be tough, gritty, physical, just sort of punch you in the mouth, control both sides of the line of scrimmage. And so really this game just boils down to that. And with it being an AFC South game, and, you've got these 2 head coaches that have been in place, in their respective positions every year since 2018, from a, whatever word you want to call it. I mean, an identity standpoint or, again, I go back to that word culture. Like, you're not going to fool anybody here. Like, there's just not that much that these 2 teams haven't seen from one another over the last 5+ years. So it just comes down to, like, fourth quarter execution, winning special teams. And both of these teams, Frank Reich and Mike Vrabel, these are 2 of the more aggressive play callers and like go for it guys in the NFL. They go for it routinely on fourth down. They go for it inside the red zone. So situational football is going to be everything in this game. And you got to stop Derrick Henry first and foremost. But if you look at the Tennessee Titans going into this game, they're not the same team last year, that swept the Colts and won that 34-31 overtime game on Halloween. They're down Taylor Lewan at left tackle. They lost Harold Landry. They traded A.J. Brown in the offseason during the draft. That's huge. That'd be like if the Colts were playing without, Matt Pryor or Anthony Costanzo and Unique Ngakoue, Braden Smith, and Michael Pittman Jr. That's huge. So that's a lot of talent and a lot of firepower that they're not going to have. But they're still going to rely on that steel horse of Derrick Henry. But so far this year, he's not the Henry of old. He missed half of last year with a foot injury, came back for the playoffs, but just hasn't been the same guy. And hopefully I continue to be right about that. But so far this year, averaging just 3.6 yards per carry. And the Colts rushing defense is number 1 in the NFL so far through 3 games. So it's sort of strength on strength. And again, I think it just boils down to the trenches, making plays in the fourth quarter, winning inside the red zone. All of these, old adages in football are just going to be so important in this game on Sunday when you have 2 teams that know each other so well. And again, it's, these 2 head-to-head matchups are going to decide, I think, have the biggest role in deciding who wins the AFC South, because I think these 2 teams are going to be there in the end, week 15, 16, 17.
I agree with you, Matt. The Colts, unfortunately, have just been slow starting and got rolling last year. And hopefully that is going to be the case this year. They've already passed a slow start, so that's why I say hopefully, and look forward to that continuing. Switching subject a little bit, just because this is crazy, a little college football involving Indiana and Nebraska. A former Nebraska assistant coach said, this was yesterday, let's be honest, Tom Allen, is there a bigger clown in college football than that guy? For the love of God, we cannot lose to Indiana.
Oh, well, you can go ahead and print. You can go ahead and take that to Kinko's and print that on a poster and put that in the locker room, can't we?
I mean, is that not the wildest? That's just bold. But here's the thing: there was
who said that? A coach?
Yeah, a former. I think he was one of the assistants that got fired. Rick Kaczynski, unless he's still there, I'll have to look. If he's still there, then that would be insane. But there was obviously a culture of envy at Nebraska of Indiana football, which, as crazy as that is to say, because Indiana had been able to get to some level of success, and Scott Frost was just toiling, going nowhere, and just getting grief after grief. He made a comment back in 2019 that pissed off Indiana.
I remember that.
And so that's why I said there was just a culture. This is not the first time. So they have no respect for Indiana. And I'm not saying Tom Allen is Nick Saban, but hey, he beat your ass. That's all you got to say. And boy, there was not a happier win then. And you think that they are not fired if they get another win over them after that, back-to-back wins at Nebraska. I don't care what the situation is. That would be that's just something you write down in 20 years and say, oh yeah, we beat them back to back out there in Lincoln.
Yeah, this is one of those games. We talked about it, and you guys know more about the topic than I do, but we talked about in the summer, Indiana going into the season had a list of probably 6 or 7 what I call 50-50 games, at least on paper, teams that you should be able to compete with, right? Because you're still playing the Big Ten East, and so that means every year you're going to have to play Penn State and Ohio State and Michigan State, and so that means you've got to win those games against a Cincinnati that's not as good as they were last year. Well, obviously you didn't get that job done, right? Rutgers is still, I think, on equal footing with IU, Maryland and Nebraska. And it looks like Purdue is going to be on somewhat of an even playing field with IU. So if you want to be a bowl team playing in the Big Ten East, which is, the hardest schedule in college football, you've got to take care of business and you've got to win those 50-50 matchups. And that's I don't think it's a unreasonable expectation for IU football is to win the games that you have an opportunity to. and it's you're not going to erase 50, 60 years of tradition and recruiting and respect that these programs like Ohio State and Penn State have on you. So you've got to do what you can in the meantime to build up your own respect and your own fortunes as a football program. And I would feel better about this matchup if it was at IU, but the fact that, I know Nebraska football is Nebraska football right now, right? It's on very, very shaky ground, but they're still going to have 110,000 people there wearing red rooting against Indiana. And you're talking about 19, 20, 21-year-old, student athletes that are going to be, at times maybe overwhelmed by that. And so rooting like crazy for the Hoosiers to get the job done. But, this is a winnable game, but it's just on the road and a really tough place to play, even though it is Nebraska football right now in the current state of things.
What's up next for you, brother?
Just getting ready for the game. Yep, just getting ready for the game. It's like rinse, wash, and repeat. So just getting ready for a monster game on Sunday.
Looking forward to it. It's chili time, man. It's chili time. We'll have to get you involved in one of our chili conversations.
There you go.
I've started a ruckus. I don't do crazy things with my chili, but my chili is excellent, as a matter of fact.
Well, I'll take you up on that.
I do put mushrooms in my chili.
Well,
ridiculous.
All right. I'll give it a shot.
I'll give
it a shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna. We'll take care of you, Matt Taylor. You're the best. We got to get you down here to BB's and get you some good meat, some nice ribeyes and steaks, and get you set up. Are you a big griller?
Yeah, love to grill. Yeah, let's go,
man. All right, well, I'm at to get you set up. When are you ever down to Bloomington? I know it's during the season; it's difficult, but I know you get down to the point some.
Maybe over Thanksgiving. Maybe Thanksgiving weekend, I think.
Perfect.
I will let
me know.
I will let you know.
You will be set up, buddy. Better bring a cooler, baby.
No problem. Tell me what size. Let's go, man.
Matt Taylor, cannot take you enough, brother.
All right, guys. Be good.
Matt Taylor joining us here from the Indianapolis Colts, of course, the voice of the Colts and of Don Fisher, of Bill Walton.
Forrest Gump.
Who all he... I wonder what all is in his repertoire.
It's probably vast. If you can nail those guys, he can probably have a vast imitation.
First of all,
list.
you can do Don Fisher. You can do a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you can imitate Don Fisher and Bill Walton, you probably have a pretty deep impression list.
Yeah, you're good because those Don Fisher's very tough. Hey, we got lots more coming up. Brought to you by our good friends, of course, from Go Team, a part of the WOW Club network where you need to go sign up, start earning WOW rewards today at either your Apple or Google Play Store, Apple App Store. Go Team, of course, is a delicious, healthier snack, keeps you going. They're offering a Hoosier pack right now, 16 count. It's only $15, and you can get 10% off of that simply by mentioning Coyle 10, COYLE number 10 at GoTeenBites.com. We're back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
The sun is out.
So,
yeah, oh my God. I cannot believe that coach. Well, I
found the audio. Do you want me to upload it?
By the
hell.
By the way, is this the guy who got was in a domestic assault case? Was that the same Nebraska coach that I think it was?
How would they give him the light of day if that's the case?
Well, I think this was years ago, but I would not be calling somebody a clown if I had that on my record publicly. These idiots.
Let me see if I can get this pulled up really quick.
Wow. It's on Outkick, by the way.
Yeah.
That's where you should use it from. That's where you should use it from.
I found it from the actual show that used it, though.
Oh, okay.
Which is...
Did Dockett say anything about it? Because he's on here.
Do we care?
Well, I'm just only about this. I'm curious.
Oh.
H4C Radio.
Larry says it's the same guy. That's what I thought.
Which one was it here?
I mean, the entire.
There we go.
Okay.
Hold on. All right. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make, since we're not going to have much time for me to download it, I'm just going to share my screen. Actually, I don't need to do that. I can just be where I'm at, and I'll just play it. And you'll be able to hear it. And then what you'll need, it's because the whole thing's like 2 minutes long. Just tell me when you've heard enough, and I'll turn it off.
Well, we don't have Kristen Airy, so, right? He's not joining us?
He may or may not be joining us. He said probably not. So
Okay.
Have those basketball clips ready.
Yeah, those are ready too. The ones that we didn't use yesterday. But yeah, if you want to go right into the Nebraska thing, that is ready as well. So.
Oh yeah.
So here we go.
And right now, it's the Certified Dream Deal Sales Event. Get 0.99% APR financing for well-qualified buyers on all 2017 through 2021 Honda Certified pre-owned Accords, Civics, CRVs, HRVs, and Pilots. See dealer for financing deals. Andy Moore Honda, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. Get more to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Remax Advanced Realty, Indie Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. Indiana Sports Beat Radio coming to you here on this Thursday from high atop the 18th fairway at the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Brought to you by our good friend Cheryl Sizemore and Remax Realty. If you're in the market for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl and her 2 decades of experience. It could be the difference between you getting the home you want or not, especially in this housing market. Reach out to her, Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com. Back with a little scintillating. I'm sure the Nebraska coaches currently are like, thanks a lot, you jackass.
Yeah.
To
just the inability.
Was this the guy that got fired, the defensive coordinator?
This is I don't know. No. This guy I don't think he has been part of Nebraska's staff for a while. And if you look up his name, you'll find out probably why he's no longer part of the Nebraska staff. Not a good record. Not somebody who should be going on public record and calling someone else a clown, for what it's worth. I mean, the complete inability of that program to keep their mouths shut when they are god-awful. I'm not saying they won't win this weekend, but, I mean, just dumb-ass comment after dumb-ass comment comes out of that program. It's infuriating to me. And I don't even have I tend to get along well with Nebraska fans, but that program, its current and former staff just say stupid thing after stupid thing and give other teams bulletin board material. And that's why they've sucked for the last 6 years. Continue on.
I'm looking at this is a Reddit post. I barely even know what Reddit is. But there's something. It says former D-line coach Rick Kaczynski with a scathing review of NU's coaching staff. I don't know if that was Northwestern or whomever, but it doesn't matter. The fact that he's talking about somebody else's coaching staff again a year ago.
The fact that he has look, he's going on radio because he has stuff to say.
Me, because he's got nothing to say, but he's just who he reminds me of? Not nearly as bad, but who was the assistant to Urban Meyer at Ohio State? That just got him.
I know
in
you're
a
talking
bunch
about
of trouble.
Yep.
Brought him from Florida.
Yep.
But well, let's hear John. We have the audio of exactly what former defensive line coach Rick Kaczynski had to say.
You got to get this win, man. It's just absolutely critical. Absolutely critical. And let's be honest, Tom Allen, is there a bigger clown than college football than that guy? For the love of God, we cannot lose to Indiana. You can't. You just can't.
You know, he reminds me of my PE teacher in junior high.
Mr. Linz?
No, not that. No. I like the PE teacher.
Here's what I don't like about the guy. Not to digress. My apologies.
You go ahead, man.
I don't like it. I just don't like these guys that it's like the guy likes running out of a tunnel. I don't like coaches that like running out of tunnels. I like the crowd. I love that stuff, right? I feel that crowd. But guess what? Nobody's there to see me run out the tunnel, right? Okay. I don't know.
I'm just imagining Kaz sitting at home watching Dabo Sweeney run out the tunnel, just seething.
Yeah. Now that hill, you run down that hill at Clemson, that is hell. I'm walking down that hill, man. That thing is steep. That thing is steep.
I'm taking the golf cart around, man.
I don't know. This guy's a freaking cheerleader, man. I don't know. He's just not my cup of tea. You can't lose to that clown. So just look over. You want some motivation? Go put a highlight reel together of that guy. So, but man, you can't lose to Indiana. I think didn't their AD mouth off a couple years ago too?
Well, it was a little contentious in 2019 because the urban legend is that I don't know. It's some Big Ten meeting, and I don't know if it was Frost or Moose, but in front of Indiana, it's like, hey, why can't we play Indiana more? Why are we always getting Ohio State, Michigan, and Indiana was butthurt on that, and they remembered it in 2019.
And they beat their ass.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the thing.
And they beat their ass too. Remember that? They didn't mention that, did they?
Let me say this is what I don't understand.
I've worked very hard to not be a homer in any kind of a way, and I'm not going to be here. Those guys were having a good time, but that for any coach to say that, I think is moronic. I will say this, and I think it was the very last game that it was really in my mind. I did wonder, why does he run out of the tunnel with the team?
Why does it matter?
It doesn't, but that did. Now that did.
Look,
I did just look at it, but does any other coach do that? I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
I think so. Like, I mean, PJ does it. PJ Fleck. I mean, what defines running out of the tunnel?
I think you do it when you're sprinting?
Still because Jeff Brom does it.
Leading the team out. He leads the team out.
Yeah,
onto the field.
I'm sure there are other coaches that do it. I know PJ Fleck does it. I don't know.
Well, that doesn't surprise me though, because PJ Fleck is a raw guy.
Well, I think you can.
But that's part of what they do. That's part of the mantra, and so
that's what I'm saying. Look, say what you will.
These guys just want to be smash mouth guys, and anything else is not accepted. It sounds like
right. That's what I was going to say. I have no problem if Tom Allen is not your style. That's perfectly fine. No problem with that. PJ Fleck not your style. Perfectly fine. Have no problem with that. But I don't understand like Tom Allen is authentic to himself. He's not going to be somebody else because that's what has drawn some of these 4-star kids to Indiana. His personality, his I don't know what you would call it, his energy. And so if that's him, if that's how he's going to win football games, then why does it matter? Like you said, they beat their ass last time. Here's the other thing that drives me nuts about Nebraska getting upset about what Indiana did. Can you imagine if Oklahoma or somebody else or Ohio State had said, why can't we play Nebraska more? Do you know how pissed off that fan base would be? How pissed off those players and coaches would be? It's the same thing. So put yourself in that shoes. Obviously, Indiana's going to use that as motivation. Obviously, they're going to be pissed off about it. I don't understand why people are still shocked about this.
I would have loved to have been on that conversation. I wish they would have had somebody else, because I would have said, well, what happened in that game?
I go, Indiana has to play Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State every year. Shut up. You're in the Big Ten West. Shut up. You already have a bye.
Not only that, if you're going to insult another program like that, why would you not think they're going to play it up? It's the most moronic thing I've ever seen, that this, oh, well, Tom Allen's an idiot or a bad guy or whatever. Like, no, he's just, you would do if Michigan made the same statement, you went into Michigan Stadium and beat their ass, you'd be doing the same thing. You'd be pumping your chest, and you would continue to use that for the next 5 to 10 years. Indiana should do the same thing. I don't understand why this is a problem. Probably not. But again, this is the guy who should not be calling anybody a clown based on his history. And once again, have zero issue. If you are not a Tom Allen guy, I get it. If you're not a PJ Fleck guy, I get it. I don't, whatever. But to call him a clown, like, oh, okay, whatever. I mean, you do you, man. You do you, man. He's coaching and you're not.
The funny thing is, if they win again, back-to-back wins at Nebraska,
let me tell you,
baby. And just stuck on that.
Here's the thing. That is absolutely 1,000% the worst thing anybody could have ever said, because that will get back to Indiana. That will get back to Tom Allen, and they'll use it as motivation. Heading into this game, I thought there was exactly. I didn't say could. I think heading into this game, I thought there was a real chance, or I think there's a real chance Nebraska could win that game because I think that Indiana has showed deficiencies. Obviously, Nebraska struggled. They get an extra week to prepare. But that is, why would you give them any sort of motivation, any sort of bulletin board material? I mean, that is just the dumbest thing. That is the worst thing you could have possibly asked for heading into this week if you're a Nebraska fan.
Yep.
Asinine.
I agree. But he's not on their staff, see? And I guarantee you right now they're saying, thanks a lot, you bonehead.
If I was Mickey Joseph, I might slap him with the phone. Like, why are you doing this? I don't get it. Whatever.
It's just I can't. It's pretty shocking, I have to say. I think we got to take a break. It's what the boss is saying. This segment brought to you by our good friends from Barbara Pop Real Estate Services down in Southern Indiana, Louisville. If you're in the market for a home down there in the Louisville, Southern Indiana area, whether it's Floyd, Clark, Harrison, Scott counties, all down through there, they have served that area for 3 decades and can absolutely get you into the home you want. Reach out to Barbara at barbarapop.com or Matt Lincoln, Matt at barbarapop.com. We're back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Andy Moore.
Yeah, that I'm not going to say that on air, but that's, yeah.
Which one? Which one?
I mean, that's
one Caleb.
Caleb just posted.
I'll say it. Was he convicted?
I have no. That's why I'm not saying it, because I don't know for sure. But he was arrested. He was arrested.
Caleb,
for domestic.
Caleb,
assault.
see if. Yeah, we need to know if he was convicted.
That's why I said.
I'll say he was arrested.
That's why. That's why I'm saying.
First of all, 5 lefts. I don't care what any of these clowns. Well, these guys are clowns. 5 lefts. I don't care what any of these clowns have to say about my chili. I know it is top notch. Top notch. But I will allow. We'll have big chef JD, the man with the palate. Yeah. You know what? That could be true. Tana says that Nebraska coach is trying to stick it to Nebraska by pumping up IU.
Maybe.
I'll put that up here in a second, Rudy, when we come back. Sam, good to see that you're up and about.
Yeah, stay safe, Sam. That area was getting hit pretty hard, I think.
Oh, that's...
Oh, no, that's not good.
Yeah, let's get that Hey, Sam, that second phrase there, not a fan of that one. Just for future reference. Appreciate you very much, but yeah, not wanting to be associated with that crew. But good to know all there's good. We had a lot of wind and rain, some water in the house, but we're all good. Heading to the office later this morning and check out the building.
I
Good
can't
to
wait
hear.
till somebody says something about also Nebraska and
Now,
and
Sam's in the Orlando. Sam was in the Orlando area.
Yeah, he's in Claremont, I believe. So, or Winter Garden. He's all over.
Hey,
Scott Frost.
Caleb
running out of
says
the
there is a video from that Hale varsity account showing Scott Frost running out of the tunnel with his team.
I feel like every coach does it, so I don't know why that's a big deal.
Only I think just some of the youngers do it.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
6-1. Cheryl Sizemore from Remax Advanced Realty. Let Cheryl Sizemore get you in the home you want today. Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com.
This segment is brought to you by Feast Market and Cellar. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat. Here with you, Jim Coyle, Dustin Schutte. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Brought to you by Feast Market and Cellar, part of the WOW Network. Feast Market and Cellar, located right next door to Southern Stone in Bloomington on Patterson and Rogers, offering an extensive wine selection with a sommelier on staff. They take their pairings seriously. They also provide a wide variety of gourmet items, cheeses, sandwiches, breads and pastries. It's all mouth-watering. It's incredible. But I'm sure if you've been there, you know that. If you haven't, you do now. What was I looking back to say? Oh, yeah, Rudy the Boxer says, news bulletin if you're in the Indianapolis area. Allen's Transmission is hiring like crazy. The WOW Network is hiring like crazy if you're in Bloomington.
There you go.
All tons of different places. So reach out to me. We'll get you hooked up. Sam's safe. We good to see that. And Caleb No says that there is a video from that same Hale Varsity Twitter account that we were pulled that audio from that shows Scott Frost running out of the tunnel with his team. We've got to find that. That would be, I would love to find that and then repost that with the caption of Kazmarek saying, I can't stand coaches that run out of the tunnel. Is that what he said exactly?
Yeah, it was something along those lines. I don't remember now, but
5S says, in all honesty, I do think Coach Allen is hella corny. However, he agrees with Dustin. He is a little corny, but guess what? Here's my opinion. I don't care. You could be whatever if you're winning and not cheating.
Right.
He's not cheating. The winning is kind of been hit and miss.
Right.
I think his biggest problem to me is loyalty. It hurts him in the wrong way.
Right.
He's loyal. He's loyal to people. This is a business where coaches are going to come and go. And I know you like to have people around you that are familiar, but that's okay as long as they're a leader in their industry.
It's also important to remember, and I think this is what Five Leps is also getting at. The message that Tom Allen has and his approach to football, his approach to coaching at Indiana is not for people like Jim Coyle, Dustin Schutte, Five Leps. It's for 18 to 22-year-olds. And he is authentic to himself, which I appreciate because I think there's a lot of phony coaches out there. And I think that the phony coaches, are you serious? PJ Fleck and Tom Allen are the exact same person.
No, they're not. Tom Allen is genuine. I think PJ Fleck.
Listen. Minnesota has continually posted their highest GPA scores. They're continually in the Big Ten West chase. They've won 11 games. They put people in the NFL. You're not doing that as a head coach if you're not authentic. Much like Tom Allen, you're not winning 8 games. You're not bringing in 4-star recruits. You're not attracting some top-level, not in the recent, but you were able to attract some top-level coaches. That's not happening if you're not an authentic person. Now, you don't have to like their authenticity. You don't have to like their approach. I totally get that. But I'm telling you, Tom Allen is authentic. PJ Fleck is authentic. Mel Tucker's authentic. There's a lot of what the Big Ten has for it is they are not a bunch of phonies like you see across the SEC. Brian Harsin,
Harbaugh's
phony.
authentic.
Jim
Harbaugh is authentic.
See, and I don't.
Jim Harbaugh might be the most authentic.
He's very authentic. He's also
he pulls no punches.
He can be also a strange bird. But again,
I don't care. I kind of like that.
He just won the Big Ten West. So that's what I'm saying. I don't care about these coaches' personalities.
I like Jim Harbaugh. I'll tell you, I've got no problem with him.
I don't know that there's a coach in the Big Ten currently that I don't like, to be quite honest with you. Like they've all got their own, like there's no major jackass is what I'm saying.
Bielema is just a football guy. Yeah, now that Scott Frost is gone, there's no jackasses. I mean, he was just a straight up jackass. Of all people, this guy worked for a straight up jackass, and he's going to call another coach a clown.
Did he though? I don't know if he did or not. I don't know if he was on Frost's staff.
Really?
I don't know when he's. I don't know if he. I don't. I legitimately don't.
How long ago was it that he was? Then how long ago was it that he was a coach there? Gee whiz.
I'm trying to look that up actually because I honestly don't know.
I'm okay with PJ Fleck. He wins. I'll tell you that. And
that's what I'm saying. Again, if you don't like them, that's fine. That's one thing.
Tom Allen's problem is, I'll tell you this. My opinion has been his hiring because of his loyalty to people.
Sure,
he does not hire the best person for the job. He hires what he thinks the best person for the job is in his box, which contains things that other people don't. Unfortunately, that's fine for him, and he gets to make that decision, but it is not good for the program. That's why the offensive line is suffering. That's why the offense sucked. That's why you had to get rid of the offense. Those two hires. That hire should have never, ever been made. I screamed about it the day that it was made. That was the perfect example.
Yep.
There was no time in Indiana football history that that position was more valuable than at that moment.
True.
And he could have had anybody, the best of who was looking for a job.
Yep.
And had it been for 1 year, fine. Go out and do it again. Get the best though. I don't care if you get continuity of average is average.
I think. See, this is people. I don't think Tom Allen is a glorified high school head coach. I think that's a misappropriate term label. But what I will say is I do think he does kind of have that mentality in terms of his hiring. He did go out and he got Kalen DeBoer. That was a big time hire. He was able to get.
That was the best hire he's ever made.
He was able to get
when he did it.
He was able to get bring Delon McCullough back to Indiana to be an assistant coach.
Delon McCullough did that on his own. He reached out to Indiana.
He did, but I mean, you still have to bring him. I mean, you still have to get him on campus. So, but you're right about it was never a more, I don't know if lucrative is the right word, but a promising position, I guess. But Tom Allen saw what worked, what Kalen DeBoer did. He didn't want to lose that, especially with Michael Penix coming back. He thought Nick Sheridan would be able to run the same offense. He probably didn't want another one-and-done offensive coordinator. And there's no doubt it cost him. There's no doubt that decision cost Indiana big time. So I think my point is I think he's still learning the college football hiring and firing process. and he's got to pick up on it quickly.
Yes, I agree. There's a lot to learn when you become a head coach first, and that first job's in the Big Ten, and that first job is in a Big Ten cellar dweller.
Right.
Boy, that's a lot. That's a big uphill, man. That's not a hill. That's a mountain. Tanis Half-Levin says part of it is loyalty, and the other part is that he doesn't know offense, so he is at the mercy of whoever he's talking to about hiring his OC.
That's a good point.
It is, but I will never get over that him hiring Nick Sheridan. It was just the dumbest move. I'm still
promoting him. He was fine to have on staff.
Yes, yeah. I meant as OC. It was just
right.
Beating my head against the wall. When it's crazy. We got to take a break before we do. Jason checking in from Orlando. Ran into Jason last year. He was officiating in the Montverde Academy Invitational Tournament when I went down and saw Jalen Hood-Schifino. We'll hear from Jalen Hood and CJ in the show as well. Hope glad everything's well, Jason. Good to hear. We'll talk about Aaron Judge getting number 61 to Ty-Roger Maris. So that record is finally going to go. I can't believe that record's still here.
I know.
But it is. Here's a funny former IU defensive tackle Ralph Green was arrested after walking into an LSU locker room and threatening people. When was that? Man, you just throw stuff up from nowhere. Back with more here at Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by our friends at Metalworks Brewing Company, part of the WOW Network. Metalworks is the combination of a passion for beer, metal artwork, along with the desire to be deeply rooted in the community. They are located just off the square in Bloomington in the former Function Brewery, right catty corner to Cabello. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat right after this.
We'll be right back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Hey, this is John.
I genuinely still can't believe that any sort of person on Nebraska's staff, former staff. I mean, it doesn't matter what year it is.
You know what
the situation is.
I think they forget this stuff travels fast, and let's see.
And this is why I say this on our podcast, and I'll probably bring it up tonight. Nebraska is the untold rivalry of the Big Ten because this continues to happen.
I don't know if it's untold.
I'm not talking about from a traditional standpoint, but the fact that every time they play each other now, that stupid stuff like this comes up.
It's amazing.
And Wop Fillier had that Chucky doll. Like that is so. I'm gonna need to find a picture of that.
It worked.
Until Nebraska becomes Nebraska again, which I don't know when that'll happen. Indiana, anytime they play them, it'll be an interesting game, I think, just because of what's transpired the past few years.
Here's another reason as to why you should probably try to hire Kalen DeBoer if you can, if you're Nebraska, because he's not an idiot.
I think he'd kick his ass if he was in Nebraska.
I think he needs to stay at Washington right
now.
Well,
I agree with that, but I'm saying that's why he is respectful of his opponents.
Stop saying his name. I don't even want anybody saying his name about coming to the Big Ten.
You don't want to speak it into existence.
I've got something in the back of my mind.
Awkward silence.
It's not awkward.
I had a teacher once said it's not awkward unless you say it is.
You speak the awkwardness into existence.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Oh, that's right. Oh, come on.
we at here? All right, coming back.
The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington, an exceptional golf and dining experience.
This segment is brought to you by Courtroom Sports Grill in Bedford. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. We are. Jim Coyle with you. Dustin Schutte from Outsider.com. Brought to you by Courtroom Sports Bar and Grill down in Bedford. Part of the WOW Club, WOW Network. Make sure you stop in. A great place to stop in for lunch, meet friends, catch a game. Make sure you go to your Apple App Store, Google Play Store. Sign up for the WOW Club today. Start earning WOW rewards. And they've got plenty because they're a sponsor of IU Athletics, don't forget. So lots of fun stuff that they will have going on. Trying to figure out something to do next week at BB's, man. Make this big. What all we can do to have fun. You're going to be here. May have you cooking.
Oh, that would be a bad idea.
Yeah, I may have to go there and make my chili early is what I may have to do. I'm going to go there the night before, make my chili, and just let it sit, and then come back in, and you all can just shut up
about
from now on, because it'll be so good you won't be able to stand it. Yep. Indiana Creek Walker says basketball's right around the corner. He can't wait. There is that. Getting back to the Nebraska, Caleb says the most concerning part to me is that a radio show decided it was good and fun idea to give a guy like that a platform. Well, I will say this. Well, they're loving the hell out of it because it's getting them all kinds of attention. So, and I'll be honest with you, if someone had said that, first of all, you don't know what they're going to say. They didn't know he was going to say that.
Right.
And if someone said something crazy like that on my show, I'd blast it out too. I wouldn't be supporting it. I would just, and they're not supporting it. They're just saying, here you go. Here's what he said. I think it's great. I think it's great that he's busted out. I'm glad that they did that to show him, let him be a jackass.
I think there's other things that made him out to be a jackass well before that.
Well, he is a jackass, obviously.
Right.
Wife
clearly.
beater. Wife beating jackass. Just need a picture of a donkey and a tank and a wife beater. You can put his name on it.
Okay. Moving on.
Who does Rudy the Boxer said, did you just tell us that he's coming to IU next year? Who's he?
I assume Kalen DeBoer.
Tana says until IU brings back Kalen DeBoer as head coach and moves Tom Allen back to DC in a surprise splash hire, I don't want Kalen coming to the Big Ten. I don't want Kalen DeBoer coming to the Big Ten. But I don't know that would ever happen. Once you become a head coach, you're not going to be a coordinator at your own school, I don't think.
Anyone. Slightly different scenario, but Luke Fickell did
it without leaving.
Yeah, he was the interim head coach. They brought in Urban. He was the defensive coordinator at Ohio State before. They fired Jim Tressel. He became the interim head coach for a season. They brought in Urban Meyer, and Luke Fickell was retained as the defensive coordinator. So it has happened before. That's the only example I can think of off the top of my head.
Fickell coached Ohio State for a year?
Yeah.
As head coach?
2000. What year was that? 11? The intermittent year between Tressel and Meyer, and they went 6-7, I think.
Huh. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
That's the only
we had the Tim says that California is looking to make girls flag football to be the next new girls high school sport. That's fine. Flag football is fun. I think it'd be great. I mean, hell, there's some great women athletes. You find a good woman quarterback that can throw the ball a little bit. That would be fun. I remember coaching. It was called turkey ball in high school when I was in high school. As one of the football players, some of us coached on the turkey bowl, and that was the girls, juniors against the seniors. But that was fun.
We always did that at homecoming, I believe.
I wish I had the physical skills to still play flag football. Those days are gone.
I think Mitchell Page plays flag football down in Charleston.
Probably still does. So. Pete says flag. They've got ladies tackle football in Minnesota. Well,
nice.
Of course you do. Along with flag football, 1,000 times more interesting than soccer. You got to know soccer, man.
Yes,
I've become a soccer convert of sorts to certain. I like to watch Indiana play. I like to watch certain levels.
Have I mentioned this comparison before? There's a comedian, and he made a good point. He was like, the reason a lot of Americans don't like soccer is because it's low scoring. But if you think about it, football's pretty low scoring too. It's just more, the scoring is worth more in terms of point totals. So instead of 3-2, it's 21-14. I mean, I know there's other ways you can get points in football, but his point was pretty valid in my opinion.
Yep, I agree, Rudy. That was just good radio. That's the part that Tana says, if y'all want to watch flopping, I'll watch LeBron highlights.
Well, there you go.
That's the part that how it was horrible in World Cup play. Yeah, that's what gave me the bad taste originally for soccer, and I think it does for a lot of people. But they're starting to get out of that. That was just gamesmanship, a lot of that. But they're starting to get out of that. Oh, there will be a chili cook-off. Don't you worry about that, Rudy. Because you should be here the night before, right? So you'll be able to go down as well, and we'll have 3 pots of chili going, mine, yours, and Chef JD's.
I also have this. Okay. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. I mentioned something earlier, or I meant to. Pete had thrown this up. Oh, where'd it go? Daggone it. We were talking about different movies. His brother was a stand-in in The Road to Perdition, another great movie, Tom Hanks.
Oh, movie. Nice. I have seen that.
And he was in the last scene.
The last
What was
scene.
he doing? What was he doing, Pete? And what did he look like? Did he shoot somebody? Was he on the bridge? Wasn't that didn't it end on the bridge?
If I remember correctly, it ends with the young man with Tom Hanks' son, staying with the family.
He was a stand-in for Tom Hanks.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty cool.
The last scene was when Tom Hanks he got shot and killed. It's been a while since I've seen it. I know the scene, but I don't remember the situation. I'd have to go back and watch it again. But it's a great movie. It is one of my favorites. I just don't watch it that much because it's one of those once you know how it ends, it's a little bit hard to watch again just because you know how the suspense is gone. But it is a good movie.
Who got shot in the dark, Pete? He said someone got shot in the dark. His brother?
Probably from the movie. Yeah.
Tanis says, when and where do I bring my chili? Bring it on down to BB's Friday, baby. Next Friday. This is next Friday. Homecoming weekend. Yeah, we're going to do that next Friday, man. It's on. So there's that. Yeah. Looking forward to it. Indiana basketball, we had the opportunity to talk to Jalen Hood-Schifino as well as CJ Gunn at Media Days. Jalen Hood-Schifino is, again, very calm dude. That's one of the reasons he is going to be starting. He's used to big games. Even though it's been at Montverde, they've played against nothing but high-end talent, man. They played in the national championship. They won a national championship. They played against teams that had 5 guys that were Division I players, multiple teams all the time. So he's used to it. He's like a sophomore. A great basketball IQ as well. But had a chance to talk to him, sat down with him. Let's hear what Jalen had to say.
I mean, it's been great, honestly. I think this year our team, we have like a lot of chemistry, and I think that's really going to help us on the court. You know, we bond well with each other. We all love playing with each other, and we have one common goal, which is to win. So I think this year, you know, the people are going to be excited with what they have this year within the team.
How have you felt out there practicing with those guys? What is it? How much confidence is it giving you towards your goals and what you're trying to reach? You're like, wow, this is really attainable.
Right. I mean, I'm always going to have my confidence, but, you know, definitely playing with the guys and, you know, with the coaching staff, them, you know, pouring that confidence into myself has definitely helped me. And like I said, the guys have been great. We have that chemistry, and, you know, it's been fun getting out there playing with the guys and competing with them as well.
There was Jalen Hood-Schifino, and I definitely think he'll be starting at the 2 spot. Of course, I'm not alone in that. Alongside Xavier and Trace Race, and I'm going to say Tamar Bates, but that's a guess.
Well, it seems like there's a lot of people really high on him and the offseason strides he's made, so it's probably
well, we don't know. We hope. We don't know. We don't. No. I said we hope. We don't know that. We haven't seen. I don't know what's going on in practice. I don't know who is doing what. We've heard Logan Duncombe is, you know, made great strides, but that's according to his teammates, and of course they're going to talk nice about him. I'm not saying it's not true, but until we see it on the court, we won't know.
Sure.
He is someone that could, if he is able to contribute, well, that would just be a boost, because you're not expecting that. So now you got another big along with Malik Renaud to add to those two. That's effective. That would be huge. But yeah, absolutely, Indian Creek Walker. He is the real deal. There is no doubt about that. He is as solid a player. He's a solid freshman as Indiana has had in a long, long time. Sam points out Montverde has won 3 of the last 4 national championships. Adding Malik Renaud, 7 of the last 10.
Oof. Pretty good.
So he's accustomed to playing at high levels. Tamar definitely needs to show some improvement this year, according to Mike. Well, if Indiana's going to improve, yes, he does. Creek Walker says he will, man. He's a competitor. This talent on this team is going to make him ready. It kind of has to. That is another good thing. They do have, if you're sending Malik Renaud and Logan Duncombe up against Trace and Race, they ought to be getting their asses pounded on and made better. I mean, that has to make you better. So we'll see. It's not that far away. As a matter of fact, there's something going on next Saturday. What is next? Oh yeah, it's a football game. It's Friday night. I was thinking of.
Yep, Friday night.
A week from Friday night. A week from Friday night. A week from Friday night. Hoosier Hysteria. Well, we're going to have fun at BB's that day. That's for sure. Let's see. Oh, CJ Gunn. Also, another freshman that he's a question mark. Only because a lot of guys. This team they are deeper. Last year, everybody says how deep they were not deep last year. They weren't deep. They had a lot of players, but they did not have a lot of players that can contribute. They have more players that can contribute this year. How many more? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Can that be
Jordan Geronimo? Can that be CJ Gunn? Can it be Caleb Banks? Logan Duncombe? We don't know, but I did talk to CJ, and love in high school. This dude was the fourth quarter. He was Mr. Fourth Quarter. He showed up at big moments in big games, hit big shots, is not afraid to take those big shots. And that means a lot. Now that has to transfer. It's, everybody's the man when they're in high school. You get to college and it changes, but if you can keep that confidence, we'll see. But I also had a chance to talk to CJ. Let's hear what CJ had to say.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to bringing my shot-making ability and being able to set my teammates up and myself up for open opportunities. And I just can't wait to go out there and get my first game underneath my belt in first season and bring home a national championship.
What's it been like playing with these guys? I mean, high school, you played at a higher level in Indianapolis, but D1 is just different. It doesn't matter because you got certain guys that are 4 years older than you, for one thing, but it's also just a different level. It's faster. They're bigger and stronger. What's been the biggest adjustment for you?
I think the biggest adjustment for me is just getting comfortable. Obviously, playing in a different environment, in a different space. I think it's all about just how comfortable you are, and then once you get that comfort level and it clicks, it clicks. So that's kind of how it's been during the summer.
CJ Gunn, one of the freshmen that we'll see about contributing, see what he can get done. Creek Walker thinks that he feels a lot like Geronimo, another X factor to give them something that they didn't have. Yeah, I mean, the dude can stroke the ball, man. He can shoot. There's no doubt about that. Again, does that translate to the college? It's a little deeper, but I'm sure I know he has been doing nothing but working hard. Great kids. That's another thing. Good people. They're all good people. Matters a lot, man. It does. You can't, you just can't accomplish things when you don't have everybody on the same page. And that's one thing, this team, they're on the same page. Their answers were all similar about any goals. I asked anybody. The goal, it was Big Ten national championship. There were no personal goals. As a matter of fact, I think it was Caleb Banks that he may have specifically said, I have no personal goals. My goals are to win a Big Ten and a national championship. I forget who it was for sure, but someone said that. But that's a team together. That's being on the same page, man, and that's how you accomplish things. So looking forward to that, as well as Hoosier Hysteria starts next Friday night, kicking off kind of basketball season for everybody. Who's planning on coming to Hoosier Hysteria? And if you're coming for Hoosier Hysteria, just come up, make a day out of it in Bloomington. Start it off with us at BB's.
A weekend. Get the football game on Saturday. Go to the football game.
If you're coming in for the football game, man, you need to just start at BB's. Well, boy, I could get a big old mess of biscuits and gravy and just all kinds of stuff going. Yeah, may have to move it outside, get it so big, but that would be a blast. Greek Walker says this team's basketball success, he doesn't think Woody and staff is going to allow this team to fail. No, we'll see. You can only do so much from the sideline. None of those guys are going to play a minute, so we'll see what they can get done. But I think that it's good for Woody in his second year as well. I'm sure that there are things that he's learned. We talked about that the other day when I ran his comment yesterday. He's got, first thing he says, I asked him, what did you learn? I know you've got all this experience as a coach, but what did you learn as your first year as a college coach? And you heard the first thing he says, I've got to get better.
Yeah.
I've got to get better. So that's a man that takes it on, he's taking full responsibility, and he's right. I mean, there are certain things, the substitution patterns were wonky, but maybe he had more confidence in the guys than he should have.
Timeout usage was a talking point for maybe not a majority of the season, but in certain games, definitely.
Forrest said he's planning on going to Hoosier Hysteria after the Zyman's dinner if he can get in. I want people coming to BB's with me, baby. Come to BB's with me. Hang out during the show. Heckle. You can even heckle if you want. Dustin will be there. You can heckle him.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm going to have to work on getting
incentive.
some. Going to have to work on getting some special guests for that day to really juice that up.
That sounds
Got
good.
to really juice that one up. Oh, heck yeah.
Pump it
up.
up.
Of course, we got to have as much fun as possible because, sadly to say, I don't know that how great Saturday afternoon's going to be.
That's going to be tough. Yes. Michigan looks really good.
I think Michigan is still the best team in the Big Ten.
Could be. Very well could be.
And if you notice, you look at the rankings, 1, 2, 3, 4. Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan.
Yep.
Same old song and dance, people.
It is.
So glad that we're going to 12 teams. When does that happen?
I think the earliest
We know
is
that.
I think the earliest is 2024, but I think they're thinking maybe more 2026. It keeps changing.
Isn't it funny though how when they had all of these different contracts before for college football, oh well, we can't make a change for 10 years. That's a bunch of crap. Such a bunch of crap. And you know, the first thing where it reared its head to show you how much of a bunch of crap it was is when they had to redo the schedules a couple of years ago.
Yep.
How fast they were able to do that. Oh, wow. Amazing. You're able to redo an entire season schedule, but you can't reschedule single games for years? Give me a break. Laziness. Laziness. They're exposed, baby. We got to take a quick break or we'll be exposed. We've got more to come up. Make sure you stop by and visit our friends at Cabello, located on the square, part of the WOW network. Go to your Apple App Store, Google Play Store, sign up for the WOW Club, start earning WOW rewards today, and stop in at Cabello and have a taste of Southern Italian traditions in the right here in Southern Indiana. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting... Oh, my goodness. The show is flowing, boys.
I'll be right back, guys.
Oh, come on.
Hey, Dustin, will you say something for a sec? I want to make sure I don't need you to drop out because you kind of sounded like you were choppy towards the end of that last segment.
Do you need me to drop out?
No, he doesn't.
No, just
I can hear him.
say I don't know, a couple sentences.
Do you need me to drop out? What's happening?
Yeah, it's just go out and come back in.
Right.
Yeah, it's that.
It does it at the end of every show for you for some reason. I don't know why it does it.
Need to get you on fiber optic.
I don't think it's his internet. I think it's his microphone.
That's very well.
All right, 10 seconds. Dustin will be back shortly, I'm sure.
If we're not on a station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio. This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. Indiana Sports Beat Radio here on this Thursday. Hope you've had a great week. And we're getting close to the weekend. Rudy asked the questions. Hey, Jim, I know this is off topic, but can you get in why Dane Fife was ran out of town? Well, he's still in town, first of all. But if you're asking about why he lost his job, I talked to Dane. I can't give everything that's ever going to be said about that is always going to be a three-sided story. So there's no point for me to get into a he said, and knowing that there's probably, I hate that it didn't work out. I really, really, really hate that. I hate it for Dane. I hate it for Indiana. Dane loves Indiana, loves IU. And I'm just going to imagine it was a clash of personalities. And that does not mean bad things, because I promise you, I clash with people. Believe you me.
Well,
and believe it or not, there are actually some people that I don't clash with.
I'll say I believe I don't know how much insight it's going to offer, but I believe Mike DeCourcy told us earlier this week he was writing a story and got to talk with Dane Fife about it and some of the other.
No. It's coming out today.
Is it today? Okay. So that might,
as a matter of fact,
provide some insight.
Look.
But I remember him mentioning that on the show Tuesday.
I'm going to pull that up right now and see if that is out yet. I don't see it. So what may be coming later in the day, but look for that at the Sporting News, where you should be following top Mike DeCourcy anyway. It's free. Of course, I know he does a lot of soccer, but they have a lot of other. They cover everything. But yeah, I'm waiting for that story to come out. Man, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm looking forward to it as well. I don't know how much specific insight it's going to give, but it should be an interesting read.
Yeah, I'd say it's going to be a little while. It'll come out after a while. So that should give you a little more information about that. Tana says, as many sides to the Fife story as there are people involved in it. Yeah, I agree with it. Probably too many people got involved was what part of it. Caleb knows. Hoosier.com contributor says Fife is an excellent basketball coach. Woodson has a very specific vision for the program, and he doesn't deviate from his beliefs. Fife didn't fit into that, so everybody moved on. And I can see that. I mean, again, Dane Fife played for Bob Knight, but he coached under Tom Izzo for 9 years. I can see differences, and it just not working for you. It can just be that simple. It just sucks that it was such fanfare. It sucks that there was such fanfare made about it, and then that happened. That's where I think it went wrong. That if there was enough done in advance, I don't think this would have happened. And I'm saying I'm not blaming. That's probably lies more on the IU side of things, I would guess.
Probably.
Ross! Oh, my God. Ross asking, when does the football podcast come out? Today or tomorrow? You guys have look at John. Did you see how fast John jumped on?
It's like classical conditioning. It's like
I was not even finished. I hadn't even finished saying it, and boy, I saw him pop on so he can go ahead, bro. Let him know.
Yeah, so this week we're releasing it on Friday. We try to release it earlier if we're able to record earlier, but we're recording tonight, so we're going to release it tomorrow.
As if I do any contribution, it's all John.
For those, no, it's definitely not even all me. Mitchell's the star of the show, and we have our secret weapon, Joe Lincoln, Joe the producer. He's a bright football mind for real.
Oh, so he's coming on.
Even though he's a Notre Dame fan.
What?
Yes,
Notre Dame fan.
He grew up. Well, you'll have to talk to him about this. He grew up Notre Dame football, Indiana basketball.
I was just getting ready to ask that question. I'm like, gosh, dang it!
He had a fun run while it lasted.
I can't. That's not allowed. That's just simply not allowed. That is success hunting. That's why my brother became a Dallas Cowboys fan when we were growing up, and I was so mad, and it made me so angry because I was a Rams fan, and I became a Rams fan because I had a cousin that was, and I was impressionable, and so I became a Rams fan. It was LA Rams. We had no official relation to them, and then he became a Dallas Cowboys fan though because they were winning.
Yeah,
That was back when Roger Staubach and all that, and they were just great. And not me. I took the Rams, which they weren't horrible, but I wasn't championship hunting. Bandwagoning. There you go. That's what I was looking for, Mike. Thank you. Exactly what I was looking for. He was bandwagoning. I can't stand that. And that's that Notre Dame football, Indiana basketball crap.
He had good reasoning. Like it's obviously a family thing that it came from, but it's unfortunate that that's how it worked out.
It's unfortunate.
James asking, what am I scared to talk about it? Well, first of all, part of it is it's not my business that's particular stuff, and because I don't know the facts. That's the biggest part. So on something like this specifically, when you don't know the facts, I'm not talking on it. It's too close to home, and I don't mind getting games wrong, which doesn't happen very often. Just kidding.
Unless it's a parlay.
Yeah, but this is not something you want to be on the wrong side of. You have to know, and I know certain things, but I don't know everything. And so I'm not going to talk on this things that I do know because the things that I don't know will impact that. I use this phrase all the time, especially for fans. You don't know what you don't know. And that is a very deep thing, but it is as true as it gets. You don't know what you don't know. But that also goes for me as well. And I tell people that. And when that's that situation, I'm like, yeah, no one runs their mouth more than I do. I know, but there's certain times where I know to shut that trap, baby.
Shut that trap.
Now, if I know there's certain things, I'll talk about it. When it's just like when I took a lot of grief over the Thad Matta thing, when just because there was 2 words that should have been reversed, but the essence of the story was accurate, but everyone wanted to focus those 2 words being around allowed IU to quote unquote deny that, but in actuality it was all true. And there's actually more to it that I have still not talked about because there's personal natures to it for that person. Man, it's been a great show, fun times. Cannot wait to do it again tomorrow because, yeah, thank you, Rudy. Back at BB's Market, baby, live, and I cannot wait. I'm saving up. I'm thinking about our Florida peeps. I even wore a Florida shirt today for not University of Florida, but where is that? Panama City Beach.
There you go.
Think about all you people. I hope everything works out well. We're at BB's tomorrow live. Make sure you join us. The football podcast is coming out tonight. Big thanks to Matt Taylor, Dustin Schutte. Did we have anybody else on today?
Our friends at the Hale Varsity that we use the audio from.
Thank you to them because that was a great talking point. We're back tomorrow to do this all again with a lot of fun. Thanks to you guys for most of all for hanging out. Until tomorrow, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.